This is Robert Mertolacci of the Mindshare Learning Report. I'm here for a Mindshare Learning Moment at the York University ABLE Symposium on Leadership at the Technology and Learning Enhanced Building. And I'm here with Professor Ron Owston, who is the director of the Institute for Research on Learning Technologies. Good afternoon, Ron.
Hi, Robert. It's a great conference, and wanted to tell you a little bit about my presentation this afternoon.
That's we were fortuitous to our timing's everything, and absolutely, it was focused on teacher professional learning for the 21st century, and you've designed 7 principles for effective professional learning, I understand.
Yeah, they're called PD Learn. It's an acronym I've used, and they're really a distillation of the research done over the last 15 to 20 years on what constitutes effective professional development for teachers. And
I see on the screen that you've got the 7 principles listed there. Perhaps you can touch on each of them and give us a sense of to how this has evolved over time.
Sure, yeah, I'll do that briefly. So the first principle, permanent, what I'm talking about there is that research shows that for professional development to be effective, teachers have got to be involved in sustained, long-term professional learning. The one-shot workshop doesn't really have any advantage in terms of promoting student learning in the end. So it's got to be ongoing. Second, my point is driven, and must be driven by an analysis between where the students are and where they should be. And if teachers can focus their professional learning efforts on addressing that gap, it also makes professional development more accountable. Third, learning. By that I mean that teachers must be involved in their learning and planning their learning. The idea of having professional development parachuted in for teachers really is a violation of adult learning principles. Teachers want to be involved, just like all adult learners, in having a say in what they're taught and what's relevant to them. Next point is embedded, meaning that professional development to be effective, it has to be embedded in the day-to-day work of teachers. It's got to be part of their everyday life. It's on-the-job training. That is proven to be the most effective. Assessed. Next point is that we should evaluate professional development. We need to go beyond just asking about was the facilities good, were the facilities good, and was the meals and the coffee breaks adequate, and so on and so forth. But what we really need to do is look at sort of beyond just those superficial aspects of it and look to see if professional development has any impact on student learning. And that's important that we keep that ongoing evaluation part of it. Relevant, that must mean that PD has to be relevant to the everyday lives of teachers and what they're doing in the classrooms and the problems they're facing in the classroom and how they can be addressed. And my final point, networked, is that teachers learn best, like most of us, in collaborative environments. Sharing ideas, getting feedback from colleagues is probably one of the most effective ways to grow professionally.
Now, Ron, you one of your comments you made towards the end in closing really got my attention, and I sent a tweet out about it, and it was something to do with investing in professional learning.
Right, yeah. By far, like, for every dollar spent on education, really the best investment is on professional learning, if you measure it in terms of student achievement gains. On the one hand, we have professional learning as the best investment, and on the other hand, probably the low end is something contrary to what we might think, but actually lowering class size is probably one of the least effective ways of boosting student achievement. And in between are factors such as hiring more experienced teachers, or other aspects such as teacher qualifications, formal qualifications.
Well, when you talk about qualifications, I was just at the University of Brock yesterday, or Brock U, and the Faculty of Education, and they're really going down the technology path. And I know you just recently introduced a new course.
Yeah.
And perhaps you can touch on the importance of that in really differentiating the skill set that new teachers have when they're seeking employment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, teachers have to be exposed to technology in the B.Ed program, and up until just recently we weren't doing an adequate job of that. It was kind of hit and miss whether their professors would introduce it into their courses or not, or whether they got a practicum placement that had it. So now a course I'm designing here at York is going to be based on the ISTE standards, International Society of Technology and Education Standards for Teachers. And so I can say when a teacher graduates from this course I'm giving, that they'll meet the ISTE standards in 5 different domain areas.
Well, that's fantastic. I look forward to perhaps sitting in on one of those classes, because I could always learn more as a lifelong learner, I like to call myself. But thank you for this Mindshare Learning Moment. That was Professor Ron Owston, the Director of the Institute for Technology and Research and Innovation at York University. And until next time, keep the learning curve steep.